Hi everyone. Basically just wanted to do a video to accompany one of my recent blogs where I was talking about what you can learn from what pros do during the winter and how to kind of make the most of your practice during that time. So obviously we have the restrictions where they can play a big part in it. We lose a lot of daylight, so unless you've got an indoor facility or a coach you work with like that, you can kind of continue your practice. It then becomes about what you can do at home. So most of us have a mirror, sort of 3/4 full length mirrors are great that you can start standing in front of, and then just checking your basics, checking your fundamentals. By that I mean my posture, my setup to the golf ball, how is that? Where my ball position is, check my grip, is that where I'd like it to be? All these things are easy to cover on your mirror. You can have nice little reference points, nice little checks all the time. So second to that is what are you working on in your swing. So if you're having lessons and the coach is trying to work on some move in your takeaway, for instance for myself, I might work on my club face position or halfway back. So if I was working on that and I wanted to see it a little bit more open, so a little bit more vertical on the way back, then I would be able to run my takeaway, get into that position, check it against the mirror, is it in a good spot? I'd also be able to feel of where my old position may have been that I'm trying to change from. And the reference points in the mirror mean that you will always be able to relate your feels to reality, which is crucial in the game of golf. So on top of that, if you have space, even if it's just outside, if you can brave it for 5 minutes at periods through the day, slow motion golf swings are something I have really encouraged most people to do. If you're enjoying lessons, the swing is so fast, so violent that it's over so quickly, it's so hard to really feel changes. So I like to take the intensity of the swing out, take all the speed out, get into slow motion feel. So if I was in this position where, for me, am I working on my club face on the way back, or am I working on my rotation, whatever it might be, just go through these swings really slowly and you'll start to feel those positions you want to be hitting. And I can assure you, the more you go through those swings, the transfer over to the golf course will really show up. Because those slow motion swings, when we're not too sort of caught up in where the golf ball's gone, can be pivotal in really making some changes. And there's research at the minute really showing how that can drastically affect someone's golf swing, rather than hitting balls and getting so caught up on where they've gone. So the transfer from that can be huge. Secondly, is the easiest thing to practice probably at home is putting. So many putting mats are available. I really like a putting mat that kind of has your ball to target lines running all the way down it. I say this because I believe if you can aim the putter correctly, which those lines will always be able to aim you what square is all the time, and start it through a gate, whether you put a sleeve of golf balls each side of that line for your ball to fit through. If you can do those things time and time again, then when you come to put, it's going to be very easy. It's such a big skill to be able to aim correctly and start the ball where you are aiming. So there's really no reason not to have those basics not in play over the winter. Really kind of get to grips with those. Secondly, you could work on all sorts of tempo, things like that, where if you're using a metronome or something of that ilk, just to continue to work on what your rhythm is. This is easy practice, and there's times when the mirror work, I know from my own personal time when the weather's bad and I'd spend time doing it, it can be tedious, it can be a little bit boring at times. Slow motion swings aren't going to give you the satisfaction of hitting it as far as you can. So pick some music wisely, pick a podcast to listen to where you can just kind of help entertain yourself a little bit as you're running through this, because doing this stuff now during the winter when it's difficult, when the weather turns good again in spring, you're going to see a huge difference and you're going to be in a much better place with your golf game. No one really likes to kind of play those first couple of weeks where there's a competition or something and not really be ready. This is going to give you the best chance to be in a position to play your best golf. So I'll probably do some more videos on those things in terms of what it is you can work on in the putting, go into a bit more detail maybe, and a bit more on sort of the fundamental sides of the setup and a bit of mirror work. So if there's anything you really want to see, let me know. And if you don't know what most of these things should be, then either seek out a coach or come and speak to me, and we'll get you on track.